Hi guys and welcome back. This is our trip down to Sydney. Our first night we stayed at Barambah Creek near Banban Springs. The water was a beautiful temperature. This is a friend's place in Gympie that we stayed at for 2 nights, and then we continued on to New South Wales. We passed the Big Prawn at Ballina, and the weather wasn't the best, but it was a great drive. We went to Brooms Head and had a look at the lookout. The waves and the wind were wild, and it nearly blew me off the lookout. We decided to do the road to the first Sky Pier lookout, which was very, very windy. Probably not the best for towing a van, but we went up anyway. The lookout was awesome, and when we went back down, we passed the big banana at Coffs Harbour. We pulled off to have a look at the Santa Barbara picnic area, which has a beach. Now, if anyone decides to pull in here, do not do it towing. We tried to turn around and one of the stumps pulled our Caravan back bumper bar out, pushed our spare tire onto the checker plate box, and then dented it into the van. It also dented the bottom corner of our van. So we had to take the tire off, put it on our roof racks, and reverse out. Luckily, there was roadworks workers at the entrance to stop the traffic for us, but we didn't come in here for nothing. So Mum went and looked at the beach, which was beautiful, but definitely not worth the money. Anyway, we drove and drove until we found a big gum tree to reverse into and bend it back into place. Finally, we made it to Sydney, and it is definitely not a place made for big cars or towing. Our cruiser only just fit into the lanes, but somehow we made it into our caravan park. We stayed at the Lane Cove Discovery Park, which backed onto amazing bushland. Bushworks weren't very well signed, but it did have some amazing flora and fauna. Like this water dragon we saw and the squiggly gum tree, which was super cool. There was one bad thing about the park though. The bathrooms were disgusting. We went on a train to Sydney Harbour and we went on a cruise around the harbour, which was really cool. We saw the Sydney Harbour Opera House and the Harbour Bridge, which was definitely on our bucket list. While we were on the cruise, we saw some really cool houses that looked pretty much like palaces, and there was also a lot of fish jumping. The guy that was doing the cruise told us all about everything we were seeing, which was great. It was very informative, but not the boring type. The boat also has a bar on it, by the way. Afterwards, we went to a hidden whiskey bar and had some limoncello oysters, which were delicious.
I got the Sydney oyster, and this is a limoncello minuet, and this is the full. Really good. That is so good.
Then we went to an Indian restaurant called the Spice Room and had the best Indian meal ever, super delicious. The next day we went to Koi Desserts Kitchen, which had all these really fancy desserts. I had a purple one, which had Oob, I think it's called, coconut and blueberry. Back at the park, we had some friendly lorikeets that loved cornflakes and honey. Then we left for some more sightseeing and got to go over this bridge, which isn't the Sydney Harbour Bridge, but it was pretty cool. We went to the fish market, which obviously smelled very fishy. But we got to see some really cool stuff like octopus and crabs and how to open oysters. And they had some weird looking fish like a scorpion fish. And also tanks full of live crabs and fish and lobsters and cray, which was cool. But we got to watch them cut and gut the fish. But eventually we went outside, bought ourselves some fried food and sat on the river. The next day we went for a walk along the beach, which I wish we had brought our togs because the water was amazing temperature and super clear. I've never seen water this clear in Queensland, especially near where I live, so definitely recommend going to the beaches here. We also got to see the famous Bondi Beach. We got to go under the Sydney Harbour Bridge and we went to Marrickville, and it had amazing breweries. We went on the ale trail, and one of the beer breweries had such an Aussie menu, they even had bread and butter on it. Then in the evening, we got to go over the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which was awesome. Now, on our trip back from Sydney, we couldn't really do much sightseeing because of the weather, but we stayed at a really nice, well-priced campground at the golf course at Guyra. It had a pub and clean, hot showers, as well as power and water if you paid. Now, thank you so much for watching, guys, and please make sure you stay tuned and like and subscribe because there is an amazing video coming out about a horse ride and camp that we've done with a funny twist and interviews. So I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.